Okay, when we left part 2, we just had a vampire rise in the graveyard, and now we'll go visit him. The one thing that you do have to watch out for with vampires is that vampires and warlocks do not get on. So I'm setting up a separate layer now. I should have done this a while back, to tell you the truth, but I'm setting up a separate layer now so that the vampires and warlocks can be kept apart. They're pretty much good at the same things as well. Vampires are good researchers, etc. So one of the things that I was talking about earlier, one of the rather evil things you can do is, once your warlocks have done their job in the research, just build a graveyard and slap them all to death in the graveyard and replace some of them with vampires, because vampires can be rather useful. Although that's probably a bit cynical. Depends how many warlocks you've got, because one vampire isn't worth 10 warlocks. One thing that vampires do get when they go beyond level 4, I believe when they get to level 4, they become immortal. Basically meaning that they, whenever they die, they just resurrect in their coffin and lose a level. In fact, if you set the creatures to flee, what ends up happening is that when they appear to be, when they think they're about to die, they'll just teleport straight back into their coffin, and they're virtually unkillable at that point. And in combat, they're a lot more fearsome than warlocks are. Although warlocks still hold their own. That's another library dealt with. See what our prize here is. It's a make safe. Pretty much useless for this level. As I said, no one's actually going to try and attack you, so there's no point really in there's no point in a make safe at all. But we'll use it. Again, we'll just pick up all the bodies so that we can use them as vampires. Again, another cheap trick you can use. As I was saying, another cheap trick, especially if you've used the sacrifice imps at a temple trick, is to, and you've got a bit of an abundance of gold, is just to create a load of imps, slap them all to death, resurrect as vampires, create more imps, slap them all to death, resurrect as vampire, etc. And that means it costs you about, if you've used the temple sacrifice trick, it costs you about 1500 gold to make a vampire, which is, to tell you the truth, pretty much well worth it in any level where you're not starved of gold. Not always an option. It's certainly an option in this level, but if I wanted to go complete vampire overkill, it's certainly an option, but that's not something I'm looking to do. Apologies for the slight jump in video quality here, but the recording of the second part didn't quite go as to plan on Fraps, and I had to redub all the I had to re-encode it in Virtual Dub. Oh, and Horn Reaper's got unhappy again, so we'll just stick him in the temple. This is a recurring theme whenever you get a Horn Reaper. And we've got another resurrect creature up here, so and the fact is you can actually resurrect the same creature twice, I believe, so I'll be getting back another mistress at this point. We're almost winding up here. This is the third library, so we'll soon move on to the last one and finish that off. Then we can clean up whatever else is left in the level and move on.
You have claimed an enemy room.
Yeah, as you can see, not much there, so we'll just get the mistress again.
Has been manufactured. Your workshop is not big enough. Your creatures are under attack. Your creatures are Your minions are winning a battle.
And the Reaper's gone off on his own and he's starting a rumble. Now, I don't get what this is. The Reaper at some point will just suddenly start missing constantly, so he probably could take all these guys down by himself, but let's give him a helping hand. Plenty of bodies for the vampire, and the Reaper's off. Where's he going? Probably back off to the lair to rest. Anyway, final library.
Battle. Beware, the Lord of the Land approaches.
We come to rid the world of your evil.
Got another increased level there, just to make things even worse for the Lord of the Land's party. Can't forget the bodies. You'll notice at this point I've got 5 vampires and I'm training them up. Can't really say enough about them. They really are fantastic creatures. In fact, if the next level wasn't what it was, I would say that that training up a vampire to level 10 and transferring it would probably be a decent idea. As you can see, all the warlocks finished training it. Hello. Yep, I had 2 demons spawn that were at level 10 when I triggered that increased level, and this is the first level where they will evolve into dragons. We will move on to dragons at some point, but basically saying dragons are pretty much awesome, and they really do they do pretty much everything well, apart from manufacture, because they're high and mighty like that. But yeah, level 10 dragons are basically humongous tanks, and they cast pretty big spells, and they have a large amount of health. At this point I'm going to have a vampire based attack, just to show off the vampire a bit. As you can see, they really do leave a bit of a mess. Although that's an awful lot of gold that's been dropped there. But that is it for Moonbrush Wood. I'll just claim all this gold. We will soon move on to level 10, which will put us halfway through the game. Nothing too strenuous so far, but it's the game starts ramping up from here on in. We've now been, we've been broken into the level where we've not been where we've not been attacked or anything else, but that will change shortly. See you soon.
Neverdorf. Once a flourishing homestead, now it's a stinking hole in the ground. It will be years before even the hardiest weed grows here again. War, on the other hand, is in full blossom.